the way we celebrated the goal with him, it was, okay, guys, let's start the competition now. We want to show you the passion. We want to send you every kind of emotion on the pitch. Oops, we were on a mission, you know, for the country. Still, people stop me in the streets thinking, I remember every single minute of it, you know. I remember where I was, what I was doing, things like this, you know.
But your family must remember 1974, is that?
Yeah.
Do they talk about the memories of hosting the
Yeah. They got a son. I was born in April, so it only took me two months to win my first World Cup.
It's an amazing track record.
Every single shirt, I gave it. Even the World Cup final against Brazil.
So who did you...
I gave it straight away after the game. Like, I'm so stupid.
6 countries have won the World Cup on home soil.
We always say that in football, the most difficult things is to get people heart.
To get people hard?
Yeah, I mean...
Heart?
Heart, yeah. That's...
Hello, this is How to Win the World Cup, your ultimate guide to World Cup success. Today, we're talking all things home advantage. To kick off, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our squad members, World Cup winner Emmanuel Petit, and also top comedian Henning Wehn. He's also an old pal of mine. So, fellas, how are you feeling? Emmanuel, great to meet you last week. I feel like we've hit it off. Is a bromance already forming, do you think?
I think so. I think we are not far to get married.
Wow, we've moved very, very fast.
If you want to.
I think
I have
I
to
do.
divorce first.
And you've said that a few times, haven't you, Emmanuel?
3 times already.
4. Why not make it 4?
I'm going to be in a Guinness record, you know.
Henning, would
There's
you be
always
out?
Lothar Matthäus to catch up. I think he's on 7 or something.
No, I prefer to be single, actually.
Henning, you could be a bridesmaid or best man if you...
Yeah, I come.
Today's topic is home advantage. The last host nation to win the World Cup at home,
France,
in 1998.
Yeah.
How much did home advantage play a part in that victory?
It can be a risk too, you know. The pressure is so high, but playing in front of your own fans, family, you know, you're controlling the environment as well. So you know the stadium. So there is no troubles you can fix, you know. The pressure can be higher because of, I remember, you know, in 1998, every time we used to go to the stadium, you know, the passion from the fans, we were under such a huge pressure as well from the newspapers, you know, from the start, before the start of the competition. We were losers before starting our first game, but that was our priority, you know, to change people's mind. But, you know, it can be very important as well for the referees, you know, playing in front of your own fans, you know, at home can have an impact on them as well. So as far, you know, as I know, I think that was probably something very important for us, you know, the support from our fans. Yeah.
And compared to other tournaments you played in for France, did that feel easier?
Well, I remember the first game we played at Marseille, you know, against South Africa, and we knew that we had the quality to enter perfectly, you know, into the competition. But in the meantime, I could feel, you know, the pressure that we were receiving, you know, from the radio, television, newspapers, people everywhere, you know. They used to stop us, you know, in the hotel, outside, you know, training grounds. We're receiving so many messages, you know, and people were expecting, you know, we had a rule sometimes not switch on, you know, the television because it was 24 hours per day, you know, on television. People were talking about us, they were interviewing, you know, people in the street, the expectation. It was so important for them, and we were on a mission, you know, for the country. But we knew that we couldn't do bad things, you know. It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received, you know.
There must be some people taking their better than others, right?
Of course. I remember some players, you know, the way they looked before the first game in the dressing room. You could hear a fly, you know, in the air. It was silence. But when you look,
There wasn't literally a fly in there.
Yeah, because everybody was concentrate, you know. They were focused, you know, on the game, you know, because it was so important. You know, the first game is so important for the competition. You know, that gives you, you know, the temperature, you know, for the rest of the competition. And you can avoid as well big critics, you know, higher pressure, you know, for the following games. You know, definitely you have to win the first game. And playing at Marseille, especially in Marseille, it's so passionate over there. You know, people are so passionate about football. He had more pressure on it. And I remember when we started the game, the wind on the pitch was terrible. We had to play the ball on the field all the time because the ball was moving like this in the air. So we had to control the element as well. The pressure outside, the element on the pitch.
I'm curious about that. How long into the game did it take you personally that you settled and said, okay, now it's just a game of football?
I won't tell you that I was very confident when I first started. And we were a little bit nervous, you know, at the start. The first 20, 25 minutes, we did create some chances, but we didn't, we were not able, you know, to open the score. And you remember the first goal that Christophe Digary scored, you know, on the corner, you know, he did a great header, you know, and he scored a goal. And Christophe was under scrutiny, you know, before the start of the competition. And he was living nightmares, you know, with the newspapers. People were pointing finger at him, saying that because of his friendship, you know, with Zinedine Zidane, he didn't have, you know, the character and the quality to be part of the French squad. So he was killed in the newspapers every single day before the start. When he scored the goal, I don't know if you remember, he did that run in front of the press. They were all sitting, you know, in front, and he was like this with his tongue. Shout so much, shout so much. But
Yeah.
it was such a freedom, you know, in his mind, you know, and the way we celebrated the goal with him, it was, okay, guys, let's start the competition now.
So
That
was
gives
it
you
at
the
that
confidence.
point then like you versus the world? Did it feel like you versus the world, or certainly you
No,
versus
it
the
was
French?
not us versus the world. It was us versus our own citizen, our own press. That's what I was saying previously, you know.
Yes, yeah, no, that's one. Sorry, I didn't word that very well. So, but was it then essentially we show them, we show the press, we show.
Yes,
we show,
because we wanted them to support us. We wanted the whole country to be behind us. Because we know that it will be very difficult to win the World Cup. So we didn't understand why we had to receive so much criticism. Our manager, Aimé Jacquet, he was killed in the press days before the start of the competition. I mean, come on, guys. Killed us when you have something to say about us, but not before the competition. I mean, I don't get it sometimes with the press. Why are we putting so much pressure? I know that it sells, you know, newspapers. But come on, we are on the same boat all together. I think you will prefer that we win games and win the competition. That means you will sell much more newspapers as well.
That's right. Positivity sells.
Yes. Yeah.
Henning, I was going to say that you're going to bring some German rationalism to this, but I've seen the shirt you're wearing. I'm not entirely reassured about your judgment. Do you think home advantage should really play such a big part, or are we overanalyzing this?
Well, probably not. I mean, essentially, following on from what Emmanuel said, when Germany hosted in 2006, we lost to Italy after extra time in the semi-final. And then Per Mertesacker, Arsenal legend, like you, so he came out after he essentially finished his active playing career, and he published a book in which he said he was absolutely delighted when Germany went out in the semi-final because he said he couldn't cope with the pressure. So he was absolutely relieved once he was over. There was a bit of disappointment, but the overriding emotion was, thank God this is over.
That's terrifying.
Really?
So 6 countries have won the World Cup on home soil. Uruguay in 1930, the inaugural tournament. Italy in 1934. England in 1966. Obviously, we all agree the greatest World Cup final of all time. West Germany in 1974. Argentina in 78. And France in 1998.
Yeah.
So France were the last team to do it. It's been quite a time since then. Obviously, this time...
It's only been hosted by funny countries since,
Well, this
other
is
than
it.
Germany 06 and Brazil 14.
Yeah.
The others are funny countries.
Yeah.
Russia, they're not going. South Africa, they're not winning, are they?
Well, that's what makes this one so interesting. Obviously, it's a three-nation... Everyone's talking about America. It's America, Mexico, and Canada. Everyone's focusing on America and how they may do. But Mexico, this is the third time that they've hosted a World Cup. Are they really potentially the nation that gets a real gust to win from this?
Well, in South America, I don't think so. I think the best team, in South America actually is Argentina. I think they have a good chance, to win again, to stay a world champion because of Messi, but the squad they have as well, the mentality.
Fantastic qualifying campaign.
Yeah.
People talk about the humidity in South America, in Mexico, and what a factor that'll be. You played in Japan and South Korea in 2002.
Yeah.
How severe a difference is it when you're playing at a different altitude to what you're
it
used
changes a
to?
lot. It has an impact, on your body,
How quickly do you feel that in a game?
Yeah, well, I remember the first game against Senegal, when we had to play in Asia. The humidity was more than 80% in the air. And I remember I lost 7 kilos after the game. It was water, but I was dehydrated. And it has an impact, altitude as well, on your blood cells, but as well
what do
your
you do to mitigate
concentration,
that?
your vision, everything.
Apart from Lucas Aid Sport, after a game, how do you rehydrate? How do you prepare for games in between?
It's different because naturally, the Senegal team, the players, they've got it in their DNA, They are more able, to play under such high pressure, But again, I think that's why, now with the calendar, you don't have time, to adapt yourself, Back in days, you could, you prepare, the World Cup probably 2 or 3 weeks before that. But now they have only 1 week, to do that. So your body, it goes straight, into the changement, and you have to adapt yourself very quickly. So probably the medical staff have to change the food, the training session, things like this, the sleep. They have to be very careful about that,
Is there any equivalent in comedy, Henning? Have you ever gigged at altitude? was it different to gigging in the lowlands?
No, but with someone who need to examine it, really. I mean, there was a gig. They did they do a gig at Everest Base Camp?
They did.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that worked, if you had to tell your jokes a bit more slowly, or I don't know how that went.
Some Sherpas to carry your jokes up the hill for. If it's France versus Germany or Germany versus England or something, at a tournament, home advantage would be obliterated by the fact that it was a derby. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that ties with your personal experience.
I think a derby is different because there is an extra motivation, and we are talking about territory, because this is something kind of different, When I first came here in England, we had so many derbies to play here in London.
Of course, yeah.
And it's quite difficult for a London team to win the Premier League because of that as well.
Interesting.
Do you know, I never thought about that as a factor in London teams. Yeah. But so what was your hierarchy? Obviously, Tottenham. When you're at Arsenal.
Tottenham, back in days, but now it's more Chelsea, the biggest rival, with all the respect I have for Tottenham. But look at that. If we take this season so far, Tottenham are much better away from home.
Yes.
Why? Because they cannot handle the pressure at home in front of their fans. They feel more comfortable away from home. But actually, I think the biggest rival for Arsenal is Chelsea, yeah.
And then after that, West Ham?
They're far away, huh?
Yeah. Did you ever play at Millwall?
Crystal Palace are becoming a threat, as well. They can be a surprise sometimes. And, back in days, we had so many... we had Wimbledon, for example, remember?
Yeah, Charlton would have been in the Premier League back then.
So many London teams, so many derbies.
And Henning, as we established a couple of episodes ago, you worked at Wycombe Wanderers. Were you ever there on match day for their local derbies?
Of course. Yeah, well, I mean, Brentford, that would be... It's funny to think there's no 2 divisions between the 2 sides. So, yeah, Brentford and then, all the other London games. Reading is now... They're now in the same division. They weren't in the same division for a long time, Wycombe and Reading. So, it's like in that part of the world, you play a lot of local derbies, Leyton Orient, you name it. So, and I wonder with the home advantage. Now, I wonder. There's always the idea you have a home advantage just because you can influence the referee.
Yes.
But surely that has to be the case less now, what with VAR?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yes, certainly with them being at Stockley Park,
Yeah.
so that even the VAR on site, maybe that would, they might be scared about getting out at the car park at the end of a game. But even then, the referee is still in that pressure cooker, and he's still the most important decision maker, isn't he? And they're still analysing the referee's decision in the heat of the moment in a stadium with the majority of fans for the home team. So it might eliminate a little bit of it. I mean...
Yeah, but you can't get like a hooky handball penalty when it hits the player's chest or anything like that. And offside is now definitely offside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that VAR is a leveller on that front.
Yeah. And the way it's used at an international tournament then, because compared to the Premier League, we seem to overuse it. And then when you get to a Euros or the World Cup, they're just using it so much quicker than we are domestically. I don't know if other countries are taking their time over it like we are. You've got a wry smile on your face.
Sometimes, because sometimes I have the feeling it's blind people, that are controlling the screen. I mean, sometimes...
And is that a bad thing?
I mean, even when I'm sitting in my sofa, I'm watching the game, the highlight, and I wait for the VAR, to take the decision and thinking, come on, guys, it's obvious. You need only 15 seconds to take the decision. I mean, why are you taking so much time, to make a decision? It's obvious.
They're not only checking, is that player offside in that position?
Yeah.
It's like, was someone half a minute earlier ago? Was there maybe a tackle, an illegal tackle or something, and a half a minute back up the other side of the pitch? So, and that's all part of the problem, isn't it?
Sooner or later, they're going to come back at the start of the game, to...
Yeah.
So from an England perspective, obviously, we're obsessed with 66.
Yeah.
It's the only time the men's team have won a major tournament. Obviously, the next time we get to a final was Euro 2020, when most of our games were hosted in England. The first time the Lionesses win a tournament, it's hosted in England. Obviously, they won it abroad at the last Euros. But seems for England that home advantage is a massive thing. Is that because are we more psychologically affected as a nation than perhaps the French or the Germans?
The support of the fan is very important, but you have to tell them a story if you want them to support you. What we had in 1998, the first few games, we didn't have that kind of support. After winning the first few games, the first 2 or 3 games, and then it started to become very serious. Even the fans started, to be behind us, supporting us. And after we won against Paraguay, after the group stage, I remember because we did this song, Gloria Gaynor, first I was afraid, I was petrified, and it because the national song, and the fans, they were united behind the national team, and all of a sudden the press make a huge turnaround, saying, oh, wait a minute, this is not the same story anymore, because now they are telling us a story. We can see, the expectation and excitement, around the country, and every fans are supporting national team. Everybody are looking at the national team now, they're supporting them. So to answer your question, if you tell a story to your fans, they will be so strong, and they will represent probably the 12 men, on the pitch.
And what story should we tell them?
Winning story, emotions. Tell them that we can do it. We want to show you the passion. We want to send you every kind of emotion on the pitch. Hopes.
We start doing this before the tournament.
This is the only thing. We always say that in football, the most difficult things is to get people heart.
To get people hard?
Yeah, I mean...
Heart?
Heart, yeah. That means you have to convince them that you can give them hope. You can convince them that you're able to win the trophy, which means emotions for me is the most important things, on the pitch.
But how do you do that without
That's easier done when you've already got a track record.
Okay. So you say we can't guarantee anything, but we're going to try our best.
People are, they will be more than happy, if you lose, they would be more than happy if you lose with what they want you to do on the pitch.
Yes.
Give 100%, be honest, and give anything, for your shirt, for the national team. They will forgive you for anything, but they have to be convinced that you have done everything you can on the pitch.
Yes. So, Henning, do you think the rest of the world looks at England and says, oh, you only ever win it when you're at home?
Now, I mean, even that was in black and white, isn't it? So,
You can watch it in colour on YouTube now, if that counts.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you write down who is favourites for the World Cup, I mean, England, yeah, they'll be there or thereabouts, but they're not like Argentina, they're not like France, like Spain, where you would think, well, they've got a good chance of winning it. I mean, so does England, but... I mean, if this is about home advantage, think what they're doing quite cleverly. They're letting more and more countries host the World Cup. So, I mean, it's got to be one of the teams. So someone has to win it with home advantage because everyone's hosting the tournament. Now it's 3 countries. Next World Cup will be 6 countries. I mean, where does it stop?
Well, not at England, because we're not allowed to host it, apparently. I mean, do you think... I've got a bit of a chip on my shoulder as an England fan. I think, as a country, we could host a World Cup tomorrow. We've got the stadiums, the infrastructure, everything.
Yeah.
And yet, for whatever political reason, FIFA...
Money.
Didn't want us to... Yeah, and maybe we don't play the game behind the scenes.
It costs a lot of public money, to organise the World Cup.
Are we pariahs a bit, England, on the international stage? Do people look at us and think we're outsiders?
You can imagine, a World Cup here in England between Scotland, England and Ireland.
Yes, we're hosting the Euros together in 2030.
Commonwealth.
Yeah. But that was because we wanted to bid for the World Cup. We were told, don't bid for that, bid for the Euros instead, because you won't get the World Cup. Which is a shame, because the World Cup is the pinnacle. Euros are big and they're serious, but a World Cup here would
We don't talk about football anymore when you play for the World Cup. When you play for the national team, you're just on mission, for your country. You're not just a football player. You're a citizen of your country. And for me, this is the most privilege, It's such an honor, to play for your country because of that. Because that's what I've been saying to players for years and years and years. You can win 10 Champions League in a row. That will be an amazing achievement. But if you win one World Cup, it would change your life forever. Because when you win Champions League trophy, you talk to the football fans. When you win the World Cup, you talk to every single citizen in your country. And it changes your life forever.
And you've done it.
Yeah, we've done it. Thank you very much, honestly, because it's like a tree that gives fruits every single day. People recognize me in the street, in France, abroad as well, because of that. And
I mean, you might have never met Matt or me if it wasn't for you winning the World Cup.
I'm sure that occurred to you when the final whistle blew.
Honestly, this is the power of football. I'm very surprised sometimes because we are just only sportmen, Yeah.
And, that's so true. And you're our guys on the pitch. You're doing it for the whole nation.
I don't know if you remember what happened after the World Cup in 2022 when Argentina won. Messi went back to Argentina. He was at a restaurant, with his family and friends. And for any reason, someone, spread the news on social medias. And there were so many people in the streets around the restaurant. The police has to come to stop, the cars and everything. It was a mess in the area. Of course, it's messy, but that gives you...
How do you prepare yourself mentally for that?
You cannot.
But you must have gone...
To be honest with you, you don't want to be prepared. Because it's such, honestly, the love that people sent you after the World Cup in 1998. Everybody wanted to see you, to touch you, to shake you, and to have a drink with you. We were gods, and the president was here, and we were here above him. And it was still, people stopped me in the streets thinking, I remember every single minute of it, I remember where I was, what I was doing, things like this,
Have you kept any of the...
Of course. I will bring it next time, when I come, I will bring it, okay?
That's like having moon rock,
I will bring it, and we have a replica, individual replica with our name and the date of the World Cup, and it's the real replica of the real World Cup, because, there is a protocol, surrounding the World Cup trophy. I've had the privilege to see in 2 occasions, the World Cup trophy, the real one. It's surrounded by bodyguards. No, honestly, it's surrounded by bodyguards, and there is a strict protocol, around the World Cup trophy. Means that if you are a World Cup winner or president of your country, you are able to touch the trophy. But if you're not, you cannot come and touch. You just have to look it.
But is that true at any point in the future? So you can touch the World Cup at any point?
Yes.
Not just on the day?
Yes.
So you've got the right forever to touch the World Cup?
I remember I was on stage with Pelé in Paris when the trophy, make a huge turn, around the world, before the World Cup. And the trophy was in Paris. And I was with such famous sport people, And we were only 3 on stage to be able to touch the trophy. It was Pelé, Marcel Desailly, and myself.
Let me touch your hand quickly.
I didn't watch it.
Like, now I've touched the World Cup.
But it's weird in the meantime because you think football is the most popular game in the world and it talks to the people. And when you look at sometimes I don't understand it, especially what they're doing right actually with World Cup, I don't get it sometimes.
And did you understand at the time that, and I know this is now more two people interviewing just you, but were you in the build-up, did you realize the implications that would have on your life?
Of course, straight away.
You realized that even before a single ball had been kicked, you realized this is it.
Of course, we already made history, in the French football by making the final. Platini, a team, they failed twice in a semi-final, and we were the first team to reach the final. So at home, on top of it, so that was something that no one's have done it before. But straight after the final, we realized that we did something huge. It was on TV. I remember we went back to Clairefontaine, the National Center, with our wives and friends. We had a big party. I couldn't sleep. So that was the first time of my life I watched the final during the night because I couldn't sleep. I watched the final and I thought to myself, we won it. But when I look on television, millions of people in the street, the way they celebrate things, that was probably the last time I've seen my country united and happy all together. That was in 1998. Since then, it's a mess.
This is profound stuff. Henning, don't take this the wrong way. Do you remember 1974?
I was born in 1974.
Okay, so sort of vague,
Really?
vague early memories.
How old are you?
Well, how good is your math?
No. Well, you're ageless. You're timeless. You say. You could be older or younger, and I wouldn't have known. But your family must remember 1974. Is that?
Yeah.
Do they talk about the memories of hosting the?
Yeah. They got a son. That was the big talking point in my family.
Yes. Were you born just before? Were you born?
I was born in April, so it only took me two months to win my first World Cup.
It's an amazing track record. It's remarkable. Henning won it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's different because we've only won it once and I wasn't alive. But I will occasionally go on eBay and buy something signed by Jeff.
Must have been expensive, no?
Yeah. Well, it depends how well the English national team are doing. If we sort of bomb out of tournaments, these things become a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, I bought a ticket stub from the final 66 and the programme and something signed. Are you like that? Or, yeah.
Nice. Well,
That's cool, isn't it?
I keep matchday programs from the games I go to, and I've got still program of you when you were playing for Monaco against Juventus.
You're kidding me?
Yeah.
Really?
I bring that in next time. Well, I keep tickets of the games, tickets and programs from games I've been to, yeah.
All right.
Do you think, do footballers get that? Because sometimes when it's been your living, maybe you don't fully understand the fans' obsession with every fact and detail and keeping all that stuff, or is that something that you can empathise
I understand that, the passion, brings you so much emotions, and even for the players. I know so many players, they have a special room at home, dedicated to their career, with all
the
trophies.
photos of John Terry's.
Yeah.
And some of those games he played in.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you got one of those rooms?
No, I gave everything to charity events. I only kept the World Cup trophy, the European trophy, and some medals, the Premier League, for example. But every single shirt, I gave it. Even the World Cup final against Brazil.
So who did you?
I gave it straight away after the game. Like, I'm so stupid. No, me, you have no idea, because my mother, she killed me afterwards. She said, please give me one shirt. We had 3 shirts. I said, Mommy, I don't know how to tell you that, but I gave everything.
UNICEF got.
She killed me. I regret it.
That's the moral of the story. Don't give to charity.
No, keep it.
It'll only upset your mum.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Henning, Emmanuel, there's no injury time today, I'm afraid. So I have to call full time on home advantage. Next week, we're going 5 stars as we examine serial winners Brazil. See you then.